I know a little.
I know a little about it.
I know a little bit about love.
Baby, I can guess the rest.
Arrived at our first destination, Chapel of the Rest. I should have done a little bit of research on this before we got here, so we'll probably have to do something a little different on this video. And off to our left, there it is. Morning, folks. On this episode of I Know a Little, this will be a segment we're going to start doing called North Carolina Landmarks and Oddities. We're at the Chapel of Rest outside of Lenore, North Carolina. The building was built in about 1887. It does have some rather interesting history to it. You can tell how old it is by looking at this magnolia tree behind me. And anybody knows anything about magnolia trees knows it takes a long time for them to grow. This church was built, I think, in 1887. It is on the National Historic Registry. Um, very, very small little church that we can go in. I think it's still being used for private events like weddings and stuff. We will type up some of the history of it at the end of the video. After this, we're going to a place called Goat Farm Road that has some history about it too. It's supposed to be a rather haunted road. I've never been on it before. I don't know much about it, but we're going to go there, and then we're going to go to Brown Mountain Lights. Well, actually going to Brown Mountain where the Brown Mountain Lights are. We won't be there at nighttime, so we won't have a chance to see any of the lights, but we'll give a little history of that as well. Pretty neat little church. Got some interesting open architecture. Looks like it has had some upgrades to modernize it. I think at some point in time they've added a bath. I don't know the hours that this place is open, but I do know that it was open when we got here. It's got some information over here and probably a registry. Yes, apparently you can have weddings here, and I think you can actually uh, do funerals here as well. I think they have events here from time to time through the year. Uh, Sorry about doing all the uhs this time. I'm kind of winging this one. Does have a camera here, so probably shouldn't be any tomfoolery going on. It's interesting. It's got two back doors.
Are you allowed
Yes, and you're on the video, so you're just out of luck. Going into the cemetery. We'll kind of walk around a little bit in the cemetery in a minute and see if we can find some interesting headstones and epitaphs. Oh, there's another skink. He's gone. Strange. This building has two back doors. Not really sure what the purpose of that was, but I'm sure some of this church has been added on to at some point in time.
And we saw some like strange dolls in the cemetery.
You're in the video. This little plaque here, this is what bothers me about places that are open to the public for people to come by and find out a little bit about stuff. This graffiti here, folks, don't be stupid. You know, somebody put a lot of time into making this plaque, and then you got people that want to come by and scratch their names and stuff. Seems like Benjamin Franklin at some point in time said fools' names and fools' faces always appear in public places. So just be respectful. We're going to go into the graveyard now and see if we can find some oddities. Looks like somebody's left a couple of quarters on top of this pillar here. Not sure what the significance of that is, but we're going to leave them be. This is my grandson Liam from Savannah. He's up visiting before he has to go back to school. He's going to show us some interesting things in the graveyard he found while he was supposed to be with us, and he did what grandkids do. He ran off and adventured on his own. I'm looking at a hornet's nest behind us right there, so we need to go get on in here. He's going to show us some things he's found in the graveyard, so I'm following him. So
it's like near a tree.
it's near a tree. Well, we got a big holly tree here.
Near a tree.
Okay.
It had dolls.
Had dolls on it.
It only had 2 dolls.
Is it over there?
Let me see. Let me check.
Are the mosquitoes getting you?
No, the plants are just balloon. It's this way.
Okay, here we go. Most of these graves are fairly old. We do have several Civil War veterans in here. A lot of these graves are from the 1800s. Something that's always amazed me about these old graveyards is the different variety of headstones. There seemed to be so much care put into the design. And my phone is going off again for some reason or other. But anyway, just the design on some of these graves are absolutely amazing. I can't imagine what it would have cost to have had these things done, but I'm sure the people have spent a lot of money in the day having these things made. Looks like there's a lot of children buried here, which seems to have been a common issue back years ago with the mortality of infants. Got a very interesting grave back here. Not sure what is going on about it. Another interesting headstone. Oh, I figured this may have been a Mason, and he surely was. This must be a mausoleum that they've added.
Like recent people who died.
Yeah, most of these are 2012 to 2020, so this is a fairly new section. Looks like it could use a little bit of mowing and some weed eating, but I'm sure that this thing is taken care of by an individual or a group. Looks like a family plot. The Steels. Huh, imagine that. Here's some Barnetts. possibly some of my kin people. Pretty nice view from here. Wouldn't really call this the mountains. This is mostly the foothills of the mountains. Not quite high enough to get away from the heat we're having to deal with right now, but still a awful pretty view. Got an interesting grave here. Patterson, Jesse Lindsay Patterson. Don't know much about it. 1858 to 1922. Makes me wonder if he was one of the founding members of this church, or possibly the builder, or maybe even a pastor. A lot of typical inscriptions on the headstone, but a pretty interesting grave, and somebody has placed a dime on it, so may have to look into that a little bit and see if that signifies anything. I do know that money on headstones of veterans have a very significant thing to do with, but see if I can figure this out. One strange thing I've noticed about this place is how hot it is outside, and the humidity is really bad, but as quick as you walk in this little church, it feels like the temperature has dropped at least 10 degrees, and I know there is no air conditioning in this church whatsoever.
It's actually super peaceful in here.
And we're off to our next adventure. We've arrived here at Brown Mountain. One of the legends around here, Brown Mountain Lights. Unfortunately, it's daylight, so we won't be seeing any lights today other than what's coming from the sun. A lot of legends about what caused the Brown Mountain Lights. One of them was a big battle between two Indians, Cherokee and I can't think, Creek Indians possibly, and they're looking for the wounded Indians up in the middle of the night with torches. The other legend was the husband had killed his pregnant wife, and people were looking for her all up into the night trying to find her with torches. There's all kind of geological explanations. They've said anything from marsh gas to train lights or car lights, but seeing as how they've been seeing them for hundreds of years, I wouldn't imagine it would be car lights. I think the grandkids are, well, they're gone. I hope they didn't fall off the mountain. But we're going to walk over here and at least take a look over to the mountain and see what it looks like from here. This is one of the overlooks. It's really growed up around here because it's in the middle of summer right now, and my wife's trying to come down the path without falling off the mountain. Once again, the graffiti is just everywhere. It just really makes me sad. Apparently, Caitlin and Jacob's been together since July 24th, 2025. So good luck, Caitlin, Jacob, whatever. Once again, you know, it's daylight, so we won't be seeing any lights, but this is just such a beautiful, beautiful area up here. I think we take for granted all the beautiful things that we have around us, and we should be a little bit more thankful and a little bit more passionate about keeping things the way they should be. This is about the end of our adventure as the little car with the fart box goes by. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, y'all have fun with that. But anyhow, this is just about the end of our adventure for today. We're going to be headed back home, going down the Blue Ridge Parkway. We may stop a time or two and get some pictures or some videos, but y'all be kind to one another out there. People are going through a lot, and we just need to be better about being nice with each other.